the Waltons won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is another
For the Stepdads.
Ah, you jolly old stepdads.
Pull up that glass of eggnog, gather around the fire so you can hear the old tale of your old stepdads.
We did record this a couple days before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to have to spend Christmas recording.
Yeah, we're a little ahead.
So,
but we watched it. We consumed a lot of media this last month.
We did. There's a little extra time this month, so.
I loved after doing Home Alone 2, seeing the gradual decline in quality of the movies we covered this month.
Well, yeah.
I shouldn't say that. None of them are bad. Ghostbusters 2 is the example of a good sequel. Home Alone 2 is not.
Well, it's a sequel that aged better.
Yeah.
It's a fine wine sequel, I suppose, or a decent wine sequel.
Yeah.
Where it surprisingly I enjoyed it quite a bit more this time around after not seeing it for a couple of decades.
It's such a good movie. It's so much fun.
It is fun, and I did like Christmas Vacation a little bit more than usual, but it's still not my favorite.
Nothing can beat Vacation. I mean, Vacation is the best vacation movie.
It's also the beginning of Chevy Chase being kind of gross.
Yeah.
It's like his looks and his star starts fading, and he started getting a little bit grumpy.
I think that this was probably Chevy Chase's last really good movie, and then it all went down. Although, granted, it might only be because European Vacation was so awful that this movie seemed, so much more stellar.
Well, Nothing But Trouble was still on the way.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I think Christmas Vacation might be his last great movie.
Yeah, so two of the movies definitely are Christmas movies, so we answered that question.
Yes, we did.
And I'd say all three of them are definitely have the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Did you watch a lot of Christmas movies this year?
I haven't really. There was a TV show I watched that was kind of Christmassy, but without being Christmassy. And but no, I haven't really. Phoebe and I watched the Beauty and the Beast Christmas special or something from like 1997.
Okay.
Yeah, that was about it. I haven't really been watching too much. It's just like Christmas is even for us right now. Christmas is in like 2 days, and like it's just weird that suddenly it's here.
Yeah, it's how it is all the time, though. It feels like we just took our tree down. Now it's back up.
Yeah.
Granted, we didn't take it down until October. Stupid. Yeah, I watched that Christmas, that English movie.
Oh, the animated one? Mm-hmm. The CG?
On Netflix.
Yeah.
It was cute. It was fine.
Yeah. I did watch Elf. at the beginning of the month. So it's one of my favorite Christmas movies.
You're not alone. That is a great one.
It is a good one, yeah.
I like that one. We will be watching the one Christmas movie we do watch every year, which is Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's Christmas Eve. I think we might add Carrie on for the double feature.
Yeah.
Check that out. See if that's any good. See if Taron Egerton.
I can always gauge my interest in Christmas because I love Die Hard. I'm just really not that excited to watch it again. I think it's just Christmas coming so fast that I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, it came fast and it didn't come fast. I don't know. This year has been the longest and the shortest year ever. It's bizarre. The way that it worked out. And it also feels like doom is coming.
Yeah. I feel like this is the best it's going to be for a while.
But anyway, we did have a correction we had to make.
We did, actually. When we were talking about Ghostbusters 2, we talked about the John Candy movie where he becomes a writer. We thought it was Who's Harry Crumb, but that's not true. That movie is where he plays a private detective.
Right.
The one where he's a writer is called Delirious. From 1991.
Not to be confused with Eddie Murphy's delirious stand-up comedy.
If you confuse John Candy and Eddie Murphy, you should have much bigger problems.
Yeah, you might be blind.
You should get your eyes checked. Yes.
Yeah, both fun movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of. At some point, we'll have to do like a John Candy, like kind of below the radar, because there's a bunch of those that aren't great, but aren't terrible.
But there are some that are pretty great,
pretty fun. Yeah.
Only the Lonely, I think, is a very underrated movie. I think the stuff where he gets away from the shtick and more into acting.
Yeah.
The more character pieces.
Yeah.
I always thought that John Candy was an exceptional actor, and we didn't get a ton of opportunities to see him really flex his muscles.
Yeah.
And when he started to really kind of let that other side out, it was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
It's just it. Of course, it's sad for his family and everything, but it always bums me out with guys like he or Chris Farley or John Belushi, where I would have loved to see their third acts. I think Farley would have turned into an incredible actor if he would have been able to do the Confederacy of Dunces.
Yeah.
That adaptation, that would have changed his career forever.
Oh yeah.
And Belushi was on his way to being more of a dramatic actor too. Mm-hmm.
It's funny because at one point Belushi was set up for Confederacy of Dunces.
Well, what we've learned is apparently Belushi was set up for every single movie. Yes. For the from 1975 to 1985. Right. But his untimely death gave Bill Murray a career.
The difference is everyone after John Candy stopped doing Confederacy of Dunces because it literally killed 2 people.
Yeah, well,
it's cursed. It's a great book, and I would love to see it adapted, but I can't think of anybody right now that would be. Hauser. Yeah, I was just going to say John Donald Hauser or whatever.
Not sure. It's embarrassing that we don't know his name because big fans
so
we are.
Good. He's so good.
He's the guy that played Richard Jewell in the Clint Eastwood movie, and he was also in. I was going to say Black Doves, but no,
not Black Doves. Black
Crows or something.
No, not Black Crows. The one in prison with Taron Egerton.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
Really good.
Paul Walter Hauser.
Paul Walker.
Walter Hauser.
Pill Wilker Hooser.
Pill Wilker. Oh, he's going to be in the new Fantastic Four movie.
I am so not excited for that movie. It's such a bummer, too, because I love the Fantastic Four. When I was a kid, those comics, I loved their weird flying car thing that had the separate cockpits in it. And it just had this really cool retro futuristic.
It was so retro 60s sci-fi. I agree.
Totally captured that.
Literally, no one's been able to capture that on film.
No, and I really don't have hopes for them. I don't
either. Blackbird was the name of the show.
Blackbird.
With Taron Egerton, which is highly recommended. It's on Apple TV Plus. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
So much of the Apple stuff kind of flies under the radar, but
so good.
There's a lot of great stuff on there.
Also, randomly, did you know that they're doing a new Naked Gun movie in 2025?
Really?
He's playing Captain Ed Hawken, which I don't know if that's one of the leads. Oh no, I think it's the guy who disaster movie guy played in the originals.
Which disaster movie guy?
He was in Airport and all those, the silver hair.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I had no idea. Naked Gun. It's being written by Seth MacFarlane. So
that doesn't give me hope.
I didn't know it's got Busta Rhymes in it.
This is going to be a disaster.
Right. Yeah.
Who's the star? Who's playing Drebin?
It was.
Is it going to be Seth MacFarlane? Is he going to star in it?
Liam Neeson is playing Frank Drebin Jr.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm back in.
I wish we were doing a video podcast because the look on your face then was amazing.
Well, it makes sense. They're good friends. He was in that Once Upon a Time or A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Liam Neeson does, and he does a bunch of voices for Family Guy, or he did voices for Family Guy.
It was also really funny in Ted when he comes up, he's like,
I
want to get these tricks, but they're just for kids.
Okay.
Can I take them home and eat them myself? I don't have any children. No, you can just take those home with you.
It's being directed by Akiva Schaffer from Lonely Island, so it might actually be good.
Okay.
It might be good. I mean, look, we got Paul Walter Hauser and Liam Neeson.
Busta Rhymes.
And Busta Rhymes. CCH Pounder's in it. There's a bunch of people in it, so It could be good. I don't know. I'm just shocked that this is how I'm finding out this is happening.
Yeah. Well, look, I will give, Seth MacFarlane is like me. He is a disciple of television and movies from the 70s. And, I make fun, but, I haven't seen that Star Trek show. I heard it's really good. The Oswald or the...
No, the Oswald. The Oswald Rabbit show. Osgood. No. Orville. The Orville.
I heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard it's one of the best Star Trek shows to come out in the last 10 years.
I'm not a huge fan of live action Seth MacFarlane. There's something that looks weird about him.
He falls into the same problem because he loves Looney Tunes and he loves all that goofy stuff, but he falls in that same problem that the Bruce Willis movie did, where it's like you have that fine line of being super goofy or being slapstick funny,
right?
And he has a tendency to go super goofy.
Yeah, and he can get away with that in stuff like Ted.
Yeah, where there's a big talking bear, but but in stuff like, and I didn't mind A Million Ways to Die in the West.
No, it was fine.
It was fine. He seemed more restrained in that, but Naked Gun is going to be like the open door of okay. Although I have faith. Akiva Schaffer, the Lonely Island guys are great.
Sure.
So maybe. Which also Jorma Taccone, which that's also a correction. I called him Jorma, and I feel bad. Right. I also thought he was a woman. But Jorma Taccone is the other director, along with Andy Samberg.
She'll survive.
He'll survive.
Jorma will survive.
Jorma survive.
Normal?
Yorma. Yeah.
Hormel?
Hormel. He's the heir of the Hormel fortune. Hormel Taccone.
Yeah. So that's.
It's crazy. Anyway, so Paul Walter Hauser's amazing. He's a great actor. But speaking of Richard Jewell, speaking of Clint Eastwood movies.
Clint
Eastwood. We both watched Juror Number 2.
Yes. It's on streaming on Max. It had a tiny little theatrical release for some bizarre reason.
Yeah. They had, according to Variety, they originally were going to release it just as a Max exclusive, and then they decided to give it a limited release on November 1st. It was released in less than 50 domestic theaters, and Warner Brothers was not expected to report at the box office. It was more of just I think they were trying to get it in to do for awards and things.
Yeah, which they should. I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah. They characterized Warner Brothers' decision to deny the film a wide release as...
a peculiar approach for a filmmaker who still has commercial appeal.
Yet note the fact that Eastwood has been making films for almost 50 years and still delivering major commercial success like American Sniper, Sully, and The Mule. But Vulture's Bill J. Ibiri suggested that Warner Brothers' decision implied deep problems with the modern-day studio system, which we've been talking about for months, suggesting that...
Eastwood, for all his genre cred and iconic stature, is one of the few major filmmakers left making studio-financed adult dramas. To the modern studio executive, he must look like a glitch in the Matrix. Not an artist to be protected, but an error to be corrected.
That is a perfect quote about how it feels like what Warner Brothers and Mark Zaslav is doing to Clint Eastwood.
Well, we are no fans of Zazie.
No.
He is indicative of the worst parts of this business.
Yeah.
He is emblematic of the worst instincts and parts of this business. Anybody who uses art as a tax write-off is an asshole.
Yes.
Anyone who puts reality TV over art is an asshole. And he's just a piece of shit. And having an idiotic reality show piece of shit like him in charge of Warner Brothers is destroying the brand. It's destroying, the things that make Warner Brothers. Cartoons, the Bugs Bunny oeuvre.
Right.
Putting that off of Max, you know?
Yeah.
And the way they treat Clint Eastwood. Look, I love Clint Eastwood as an artist. I think nobody has done more consistent work for a longer period of time. And I don't know any filmmaker who is some of his best work, if not his best work, came after his 60s.
Yeah.
In his 70s and 80s. I mean, Letters from Iwo Jima, the Japanese language side of that
companion
World War II
piece to the Flags of Our Fathers.
Is an amazing film.
Yeah.
So superior to Flags of Our Fathers, which is a fine film. But I would say that Letters from Iwo Jima is one of the best World War II films ever made.
Yeah, I would agree.
And the way that and we've never seen that side of Japan, the Japanese side before.
So eye-opening on like what they had to go through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's one of the only filmmakers, too, that has not gone over budget, not gone over schedule. He's always goes under budget and on time.
Yeah.
And is consistently delivering profitable work, if you're going to look at it that way.
Right. He's consistent and efficient.
Couple of stinkers, sure. Who doesn't when you have 100,000 films out there?
Well, he's releasing a movie a year. Like
he's also one of your most consistent filmmakers. One of your reliable guys that's going to turn in a good movie. And the one thing that from what you said in the quote, it's nobody is making these types of adult dramas anymore.
No. Juror Number 2 is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Like it felt like such a throwback to a good 70s thriller.
Yes, a good 70s courtroom thriller. The thing that I loved about it was that there were no bad guys.
Yeah.
There wasn't,
It was very gray.
Yeah. And in so many of these courtroom dramas, they always paint the DA as either the villain or the hero. Either they're the hero trying to bring...
They see anything beyond what they think happened, and then they just admit it out of hand. And like they're just like, no, we have to get this guy.
Which unfortunately is kind of the reality.
It's true.
Because it's all about politics and ego and bullshit. Yeah. But Toni Collette did a great job playing the prosecutor. And the fact that her and Chris Messina, their characters were friends.
It was so interesting.
And that she listened.
That's so true.
Yes.
That is so true.
And that she listened. And even though she was on her way to winning the case, he planted a seed and she wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And so that was great. I thought that aspect of it was refreshing.
Yeah.
We don't see that very often. You know, Nicholas Hoult, he did a really good job. Both he and Zoe Deutsch, who is a friend of the show, his favorite of the show, Leah Thompson's daughter, and Harry Deutsch.
Harry
Deutsch?
Howard Deutsch.
Howard Deutsch. Up until the end, when Nicholas Hoult, like, I don't even know if these are spoilers because everything's kind of on its sleeve, right? It's not, It's not like a thrill, some sort of mystery or anything. But when he's talking to, when Nicholas Hoult's character is talking to Toni Collette's character, and he is like, it's nobody's fault. What if it's just somebody who's good and
right. If going after somebody else would ruin a life potentially.
Right. But it was like that's when I'm like, okay, he's a bit of a scumbag because he did. I get it's self-preservation.
At the end of the day, he didn't do the right thing.
No. But that was what's so great about it too.
Yeah,
is it's so human because I'm sorry, but most people would not come forward.
No, he shouldn't have said anything.
No.
At the end of the day, if that's what he should have just been like, all right, he's guilty. Let's move on.
And what's great about it too is he thought he hit a deer. Like he didn't.
It's
not
was
like
convinced.
He was hiding it.
Yeah, no.
We don't even know if he did it, really.
No, that's the beauty of this movie.
Yeah.
The whole time, it was setting up expectations. Chris Messina was so good as the defender that I literally thought the guy did it just because he was so good at deflecting guilt from the dude accused. And I was like, oh, the twist is going to be that he actually did kill her.
Right.
And it wasn't. That's just
not
how it was too real for that.
No, it was just really, it's like an adult movie. It's for grown-ups.
Yeah.
And it's for grown-ups who have a brain, which is very rare.
It was so good. It was so good.
The more I think about it, the more I enjoyed it. It's one of those.
Yeah, it was. The more you dissect it, the more you pull it apart, you realize just how good of a director Clint Eastwood is. And the fact that he was 93 when this started shooting.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want him to live to like 110.
Yeah.
And I want him to be like the only guy who's ever directed a movie at 100.
Yeah.
And it'll be a great movie.
Yeah.
I want to be in it. I want to be in it.
I thought they had talked about another movie that he was doing, but there's rumors that this might be his last.
We haven't seen him.
Yeah. So I mean, it's possible he's going to come out of the woodwork and then do whatever he wants. But like, he's now 90 because he started shooting this in 2023. So he's got to be at least 95 now.
Yeah.
Or around coming up to 95. So I mean, it's going to be tough, but I'm hoping he's got at least one more in him.
It's like he and Harrison Ford, who are both doing great work in their 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Still, like, getting better and better as they get older.
Shrinking is amazing. And he keeps getting better and better in that part. And this season gave him a lot of meat.
Nice.
And he ate it up. And like I said, if he does not get at least nominated and not win the Emmy for Best Supporting Actor, then, look, I don't have any faith in award shows.
No.
Everybody knows how much I despise.
He'll probably end up getting a Golden Globe.
It's just, this is why I hate award shows. I don't think, that there should be awards for art. It's just arbitrarily stupid.
That's dumb. That's saying that one thing is better than another when they're apples and oranges.
And B, at this point, we need less competition and more cooperation in the business.
Yes.
Because it's failing.
Yeah, we don't want to go down the David Zaslav path.
No, but that's where we're headed.
We are going that path, yeah.
It just seems like TV is the way now.
Yeah.
And movies are kind of, unless it's some giant blockbuster.
But this is the thing, is that I didn't realize they had released on less than 50 domestic theaters, right?
Right.
Like, it was here in LA, probably New York, maybe some Chicago, maybe Atlanta. But like, it had a budget of like $35 million. And in just those less than 50 theaters, it made over $20 million. Just those. And it was out for like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
That's
amazing. And it made like 2/3 of its budget back.
Yeah.
Like, Howard Zaslav needs to look at that and be like, I'm an idiot. I should have done a mass release on this.
Well, sociopaths don't usually, aren't very good at self-reflection. Look, he's going to either F up so much that he gets fired. Pretty soon, all of these companies, and not just film companies, but all of these companies are going to realize that they need their customers.
Yeah.
And that their shareholders, as important as they are, they don't keep you in business.
No.
It's your customers that do.
Your customers, if you don't have customers, you don't have money, then you don't have money to give to your shareholders.
No.
The end.
No. And you keep making bad decisions, you keep shortchanging us, and then we're going to walk away.
He had, from his deal with CEO Howard Zaslav, had so much stock in Warner Brothers that a couple weeks ago he was forced by the government to sell over $30 million worth of stock because he had too much stock.
Ugh.
Like, that is how they think.
Well, we talk about this all the time, dude. It's failing upward. If you're a white, middle-aged dude, you can fail upward all the way to the goddamn presidency if you want. True. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you screw up or whatever. There's always going to be apologists, and there's always going to be people that are going to pump you up. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's just all ego and fear and all of the crap that makes art and business just don't mix, man.
I mean, they can, but you have to give more leeway to the art. I will also say I really appreciate the fact that Kiefer Sutherland was in Juror number 2. Was not expecting him to be in it, and I thought it was highly ironic that he was playing Nicholas Holt's sponsor for AA. Yeah. I just thought that was really funny, considering the one time I've met Kiefer Sutherland, he was drunk off his ass. But it was good. Highly recommend it. It's on Max. Give it a watch. It is one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Agreed. And it's really nice to see another like adult drama.
Yeah.
That's for grown-ups. That's going to not just hold your hand through it.
Yeah, it's complicated and interesting, and it still keeps your interest the entire time.
It does, and interesting casting too. It was nice to see Cedric Yarborough, who's usually on Reno 911 or usually playing some crazy,
the weird, goofy slapstick.
Yeah, he's a comedy guy, but it was nice to see him playing drama. It was nice to see him doing a drama and doing it really well.
Oh, yeah. From the very beginning, I thought he was going to be like, he's going to find out. He's going to figure out Nicholas Hoult, and he's going to take him down.
Yeah. And J.K. Simmons in kind of a smaller part.
So good.
Always
oh, my God.
Good.
So good.
I mean, look, a lot of it was fantastical with the cop and being on the jury and stuff, but still, it was still believable enough.
But it also corrected itself. Like, that's what I loved about it, is that it was like, well, they found out that he was a cop, and they were like, well, you gotta go. Like,
no, they did.
But that was real, I mean, I just love. He's like, well, nobody asked, so I didn't say anything.
he's so great. And then I would be remiss. I think Chris Messina is super underrated. That guy is such a talented dude. He was so good on The New Girl.
Yeah,
he's really good on that. Based on a true story, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
With the girl from
The Big Bang Theory girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, who's
I do not watch. Career. I don't watch that show, so I don't remember her name.
I saw the first season. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I haven't. I started watching the first episode of the second season. It's going to take me a while.
I didn't even realize the second season was out already.
Yeah, it came out last month.
Oh, wow.
But I'll be interested to see, because it's a very tricky concept. Because they're this couple that they do this true crime podcast, but the co-host is a serial killer. That they find out, and so they have to kind of like
figure out
manage the morality of this.
Oh, wow.
And can you control a serial killer? You can't. So it was very good first season. So I'm curious to see how they are able to sustain such a fantastic. Such a difficult.
Well, Dexter did it for 45 years, so
I did watch. Speaking of that, I did watch a couple episodes of the Dexter New Blood.
Young new Dexter, young Dexter.
It's fine. It's basically Muppet Babies, but with Dexter, because everybody, the whole cast, they're all just a bunch of younger versions,
right?
And they did a good job of casting like. The young, the guy that wears the pork pie hat all the time.
Oh yeah.
The Cuban guy.
Yeah.
He still talks like he looks and sounds exactly like him. But it's also it's really really great also to see Sarah Michelle Gellar back on TV. I love her from Buffy.
Yeah.
And Patrick Dempsey's fine, and the Jack Nicholson guy. What's that guy's name?
Christian Slater?
Christian Slater's in it.
Is he in it too?
He plays.
Wow, I had no idea any of these people were in this show.
Christian Slater plays the dad.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
It's funny because they age him down for an episode. It's just like, ugh, nope. No offense to him, but he's doing a really good job.
Yeah,
I love Christian Slater. I think he's. It's good to see him. It's good to see all these guys working.
Okay. I mean, Phoebe loves Dexter, so most likely we'll end up watching it.
If you're a fan of Dexter, you'll like it because it's the kid's pretty good. It just seems to me like if your high school or your college wanted to put on a Dexter show.
Yeah.
And then you have all these people cosplaying as Dexter characters.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't mean to jump to
not
TV.
A glowing review, but it seems like. But again, we still haven't watched the quasi sequel or the continuation series yet.
Yeah, that one's fine.
Old Blood or.
Well, that one's all negated too because they're bringing him back for Dexter Resurrected in the summer.
Well, I haven't seen any of it, so don't spoil anything.
Well, you don't really need. I mean, sure, why not watch the series?
I mean, we're going to. I mean, it's literally it's going to happen. So I mean, but
you should.
The last couple seasons of Dexter just left a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, the problem with these anti-heroes is it's very hard to sustain the tightrope between sinister and likability.
Yeah.
And, the guy's a sociopath and a serial killer. And just because he's got a code doesn't mean he's not bad.
Right.
He's still a bad guy.
Yeah.
And, that's the thing. I love anti-heroes and I love shows like that.
Yeah.
That test the audience, like Breaking Bad. But you do get to a point where, you're going to either have to condemn or vilify.
Yeah. And
character.
that's the reason why I started disliking the show, because they had a very obvious point in the second to last season where he should have been caught and should have been vilified, and they didn't. They just copped out, and it was like, all right.
The cat and mouse thing got a little bit too unbelievable, incredulous.
Yes, incredulous. Anyway, Dexter, yay!
But juror number 2.
Juror number 2, highly recommended. It's really good. It was put on the top 10 films of 2024 by the National Board of Review, if our glowing review does not convince you.
Yeah. Look, you like courtroom stuff, you like adult stuff, you're going to dig it.
Yeah, it's really good. We also watched Alien Romulus.
Yeah, directed by
Fede Alvarez. Or Alvarez.
Did Evil Dead 213 and Don't Breathe.
In 2016. He hasn't directed a ton of movies. People really loved the Evil Dead 2013. I don't remember anything about it.
I think that the conceit was interesting. I think they were going to the cabin to help somebody detox or something.
Yeah.
So they didn't know she was crazy because she was coming off of drugs. I don't... Look, I love the original Evil Dead movies. So if you don't have Ash, you don't have me. It's hard for me to... Might as well just make a different movie.
Did you see the Evil Dead Rising?
That's what I was going to say. I started watching that and I did enjoy it. I don't know why I never finished it.
Oh,
but to me that was more interesting because it took it out of the cabin, it took it away from all those characters, and was more about this family dealing with it. And so that I found interesting. But look, I really love the original franchise, and that's all I need from them.
No, I agree. I mean, these movies come and go. It's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like this new stuff comes out, and it's like, that's great. I'm just going to rewatch the original.
Yeah. No.
Okay, I'm sure they're not bad, but
I just watched, that's so funny, I was during Halloween, I watched the origin story of...
Yeah, you talked about it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. It was. I mean, they're all interesting. I just, at the end of the day, it just makes me want to watch the originals again.
Well, look, regardless, he did a great job on this movie.
The nice thing is that Alien Romulus was not like that. It had enough of the original movie that I was satisfied.
Yeah.
But this was done really well.
It was a direct sequel to the first Alien.
Yes, it was set about 20 years after the first movie.
So in the timeline, it comes between Alien and Aliens.
Correct. Yeah.
But it recaptured that claustrophobic, spooky, you don't know what's going to happen vibe of the first one, by killing off different characters. And just the sheer stupidity of the corporation who keeps bringing this creature back.
Yes. They somehow think that it's going to save humans,
or it's a weapon that they can...
anyway, I don't want to spoil anything in the movie because it's a pretty big plot point. But,
right.
But, the reason that it's there and why they got the alien original...
It does make more sense.
I mean, it does, yeah.
It does make a lot more sense than the vague descriptions in the other movies.
Yes.
But the cast was really good. What's her name? Kaylee Speeney?
Kaylee Speeney, I think. How do you say it? Speeney or Speeney?
I noticed her in Civil War.
She was so good in Civil War.
Great as the young photojournalist. She looks like she's 12.
It's crazy that she's almost 30 now.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for her because it's probably stymieing her career a little bit.
Yeah. She was great in this, though.
But she's great. I mean, when you first see her, you're like, what's this 12-year-old doing in this movie? Right. And then you watch her for a few minutes, and you're like, oh, okay, she's great.
Yeah, she's older than her looks.
Well, the dude that played the robot was really good.
Johnson.
It's the sad robot with the sad eyes.
Man, again, and I know we talk about this a lot, but as an actor, having a part where you have to play essentially two different parts, it was so good. He was so good.
He was great.
He was so good. And then the older guy, Archie Renault, I think his name was, the guy who played the older brother.
Right.
The whole cast was good.
Yeah.
I mean, but most of them I didn't know. Kaylee Speeney was the only one that I was like, oh, okay, I know who she is.
It was a young international cast of up-and-comers.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the future of Hollywood.
Well, the beauty of these types of movies, especially horror movies, is that these are the movies that give young unknowns a chance because you don't need any big-name actors in these movies.
No.
The alien is the star, and if it's Terrifier, it's the clown's the star.
Yeah, then it doesn't matter. The tertiary characters are just there.
Just cannon fodder. But yeah, it was a taut, fun return to, again, back in the 70s, it has more of that vibe of the original Alien. And Fede Alvarez is somebody to watch. He did a great job.
He did a great job. Shot very well, done very well, very clever.
It's also a thankless job because everybody has such high expectations for the Alien films. Mm-hmm. And some of the greatest directors of filmdom have made Alien, from Fincher to Ridley Scott to James Cameron to the...
Well, it's interesting. John,
the delicatessen guy.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Jeunet.
It's interesting because obviously Ridley Scott started it, and then he didn't want to do the sequel, which Cameron did. And then had Fincher, was his first feature in Alien 3, and then Jean-Pierre Jeunet. And then they started going back, and so Ridley Scott was like, well, I'll just direct all these. And so he's directed everything since then. And Fede Alvarez did a fantastic job of capturing that feeling of the original movie.
Definitely. And, Ridley Scott was more interested in the origins of the alien and telling that story and the story of the aliens that control the aliens.
Right.
You wanna...
I mean, I will say this actually made me almost the impossible task of making me want to go back and watch Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which I did not really like either of those movies.
Yeah, I want to see them again because I didn't dislike them. I liked them.
They were fine. They just felt overly complicated.
Yeah.
And it defeated the purpose of the original movie, which was, it's a character story.
Well, that's the same problem happens with Christopher Nolan films, his sci-fi films, where the concept or the message or whatever you want to call it, it just gets so muffled and convoluted with all these different things.
I will say with Alien Romulus, I am so glad that it was not spoiled for me. We won't spoil it here, but the third act has one of the creepiest friggin' things I've ever seen on film, and it is done so well.
Yes.
And it nearly pooped myself. It was so good. It was done so well. Highly recommended. It's on Hulu right now.
In the bowels of Hulu. They're not.
It's weird.
They're not really pushing it.
Hulu's weird. I now at the point, and I watch all my stuff on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
The Hulu app on the PlayStation 5 is awful now.
It's garbage.
It will get to the point where, for me, the way it goes to a commercial, and then 10 seconds into a commercial, it'll freeze. And then you have to back all the way out. And then when you come back to the thing you're trying to watch, it's just we can't find that file. Well,
the infrastructure of most streaming services, it's complete garbage now. Yeah. With Hulu, with me, it'll... If let's say that we're out in the living room and you guys start watching What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
If I try to watch What We Do in the Shadows, I'll get back on it. It'll only have the first season, not any of the other seasons.
It's so weird.
I'll have to unsubscribe to that.
Right.
I have to remove it from my watch list, restart the app, and then go back, search for it, find it, and then I'll be able to...
See, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
We started watching the last season of What We Do in the Shadows last night, and we were able to watch about 8 minutes of it, and then it crapped out.
Yeah.
And I was just so annoyed. It's like, I can't... It took us 2 weeks to watch one show because it just kept cutting out.
It's garbage. And Paramount Plus, that app on the PlayStation is the worst. It doesn't load anything in.
Oh my God, it takes 8 minutes. It's just
it's like dial-up.
It's like, we've got fast internet, man.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
It is crap. Not only does it take forever for anything to load in, and the stuff on the menu page doesn't load in.
Just a basic menu of what you can watch.
If you watch a movie, it never, ever, if you stop that movie, it goes right back to the beginning.
Yeah.
I was watching...
Sucks.
I was trying to watch Blade Runner
2047.
47. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
47 or 49?
No, I think it's 47.
Whatever.
Or 20. Maybe it is 2049 now that you say that.
The Blade Runner sequel.
I was watching the prequel, 2047.
Which I love. I love that movie. It is so good.
Yeah.
But I didn't have time to watch the whole thing. So, I still haven't finished it, but because it's like a 3-hour movie.
Oh, yeah, it's long. But
it's just... Every time I got to zip through, and it doesn't have a fast forward. It's only 3 times, so it still takes you. Anyway, get your crap together, Paramount.
Yeah. Look, I know it's possible for the infrastructure and the code on these things to be good because Netflix is a very good streaming app.
Very reliable.
Very reliable. And you'll always have something watching. It might buffer once in a while, and it might lose quality for a few seconds, but it always comes back.
Apple TV also great infrastructure.
So good,
great infrastructure.
Yeah.
But look, Paramount is in trouble, man.
Yeah,
they're laying everybody off. You can't have a crappy app too. You can't have that. So many people watch it through their game systems. And if you don't have the infrastructure, I just don't watch shit on Paramount.
I don't either. I started to watch After Midnight, the
game show.
The Taylor Taylor Tomlinson, her show, which is great. But I was watching it on the Paramount Plus app, and it's just easier to watch through YouTube.
Yeah,
like it's in clips, but like they pretty much upload everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, all right, I'll deal with the commercials because at least I can watch it.
Old man corner. But it's true. Look, get your shit together. You know, you guys deserve to fail with this type of crap that you're doing. You deserve to fail. I'm sorry. It's disappointing. Release your freaking movies and quit making so many goddamn sequels and improve the infrastructure of your goddamn apps.
Yeah, there's a million people that are in coding and like do this stuff. Just hire them to fix it.
It doesn't. Look, if that's your bread and butter and your app isn't working,
you
know, you're an idiot. I did watch a couple of other movies. I just want to mention quickly.
Sure.
I watched The Joker 2.
Yeah.
Folie du. That was the worst piece of crap I have seen in ages. Ages. It is a literal FU to moviegoers and the fans of the original Joker. I liked the original Joker. I didn't love it. I thought it was interesting. I loved it because it was kind of 70s, but to me it really felt like a remake of King of Comedy by Scorsese. Even to the fact that you had Rupert Pupkin now playing the part of Jerry Lewis. But it was fine. At least it was interesting, and it kind of told a different story.
Right.
And, I get it. But this one, man, it was a musical?
Yeah, that's weird.
Joaquin Phoenix does not have a great voice. Let's just put that out there. This movie made no sense. It was just it's like somebody just threw up and whatever came out, that's the movie. And maybe it was kind of a FU to all the bros that are like, oh, Joker's a hero or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you have to make a movie to apologize for your other movie or clarify your other movie, then you didn't make a good movie.
Yeah.
And Lady Gaga, man, she was so wasted. Not wasted, but her talent was wasted.
Right.
This portrayal of Harley Quinn was thin at best.
Yeah.
The relationship between the two of them, they don't have any chemistry. And the relationship between the two of them, is negated by the idiocy of the script. And there's really nothing about this movie that was good. I hate watched this movie for the entire time. And I was like, what am I doing watching this movie? And I don't know, man. I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of Joaquin Phoenix and his shtick.
Yeah.
And, it's just... I'm also getting tired of these gritty, realistic superhero, supervillain retelling movies. I'm so looking forward to the Superman movie because it looks like it's fun.
Yeah.
It's got the dog in it, and it's got goofy superheroes in it. And, and that's the thing about Gunn is he wants to have fun, man. He realizes that comics are fun and goofy and weird.
Yeah.
And he embraces that. And this was just, I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with Todd Phillips. I think look, I will give him this. It was an interesting mess. At least he was trying for something different.
Right.
And I will give him props for the creativity or whatever.
Yeah.
The ingenuity, I suppose. But none of that shit matters if you make a bad movie. And it was just BAD bad.
Well, everybody has stinkers. It happens.
Stink City. And then kind of in the middle of the road, I watched Beetlejuice, which wasn't bad. It had some moments. It was fun to see some of the characters back. But again, much like Home Alone 2, a completely useless sequel.
Pointless sequel.
Sequel that we didn't need. And they did Delia Dietz dirty in this, man.
Oh, yeah.
Winona Ryder's character, she was such a strong, interesting character in the original Beetlejuice, and they just turn her into this idiot, kind of pseudo-psychic who's dating this obviously idiotic, user moron.
Yeah.
But she's just going along with it, and then, Jenna Ortega is her strong-willed daughter.
Right.
And the real bright spot in it is Catherine O'Hara, who's always just America's treasure. And,
at least he was going back to more practical stuff.
That's the thing. The one thing that I loved about it was that practical effects, practical makeup effects, stop motion stuff, getting back to what made his movie so fun and interesting when he was beginning his career. It was nice to see that. I just would have rather seen a better story told. It didn't add anything to the characters. It didn't add anything to the universe. It was clever the way that they got around Jeffrey Jones being in it by having him in it, but he has no head. He was eaten by a shark. So he's running around in the afterlife trying to, it was, again, just kind of thin and lazy. It was a lazy sequel.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yes. It was a lazy sequel.
All right. What about TV? What TV you been watching?
I watched, was it called Lost Level?
Secret Level.
Secret Level.
I did watch that too, actually, yeah.
Secret Level, I loved it. I thought it was really great.
I don't understand why people had issues with this.
Really clever. The Pac-Man thing was really clever. Which
so creepy.
But apparently that's a game. It's based on an actual game that's coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they were really fun. The Arnold Schwarzenegger one was fun.
It was done so well. Written so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of episodes. I thought there were only 10, but there's like 20 or almost 20.
Is there?
Yeah, because I thought I was done. And I
thought I was done too. I thought I only watched 8.
Yeah, no, you have another 8 to go, I think.
Oh.
Maybe they dropped...
Maybe they dropped
2
after?
weeks.
Yeah,
because I didn't...
I'll have to look, because I only watched 8 of them.
No, there was some good... Because I thought it stopped at the Keanu Reeves one.
Yeah, that's where I stopped.
But then they dropped a whole new batch. So that was really fun.
They're doing more. They picked it up for another season.
Good. If you liked
Love, Death, and Robots.
If you liked Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, you'll love this. It's the same kind of cool sci-fi, great animation, great directors telling really interesting stories. If you're a video game fan, you're going to dig it. I am so divorced from the mainstream on things at this point that I don't even really pay attention because I guess I'm out of the loop. People don't like.
I didn't know that people hated it until you told me.
Yeah.
I was just like, it doesn't make any sense because it was done really well.
Look, man, people hate stuff for the stupidest reasons. Naughty Dog just released a teaser for their new game, Intergalactic.
The Heretic Prophecy.
Yeah, which looks amazing.
Looks incredible. I'm so excited about it.
And, of course, the trolls come out. It's just, there's people that are very insecure or very unhappy, and we've all become keyboard warriors, and we can say whatever the F we want, and, I think people are just unhappy, and they want to make everybody else unhappy, too.
Look, these trolls come out, and if they really weren't buying these games, then video game companies would start having more main characters that are old and white.
Yeah.
And so go ahead, don't buy the games because the games are selling well regardless.
Yes.
And I like interesting characters.
Yes, exactly. I love playing as Aloy.
Yeah.
She's a really interesting character.
Yeah.
Ellie from Last of Us.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, God, so good.
Jesus, man.
Look, there would be no Alien franchise without Sigourney Weaver being a badass.
Yes.
She was forced to be a badass, and she did it, and she was awesome.
Yes.
If I'm that excited to identify with a male character, I'll just watch He-Man again.
Yeah, there you go. But speaking of very strong female characters,
yes,
Black Doves, man.
Yeah. God, it's probably my favorite show of the year.
I would say,
and there have been some really good shows this year, but my God, for 6 episodes. It is so tight. It is so good.
It's also so much fun.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about spy shows that have been missing
Yeah.
It's too serious. But this has some pulp. It has some sexiness.
Oh, yeah.
It has some outlandish stuff. And it has...
yeah, just a bit.
And it has Keira Knightley on the top of her game.
Oh, my God. So good.
Forgot how good of an actress she is.
So good.
And the actor that plays her husband is so good.
I don't know his name.
But
he's really good.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a really complicated. All the parts are so complicated. Everybody's got secrets and things, and Keira Knightley plays it so perfectly. And Ben Whishaw.
Oh my God.
That's my new talent crush.
Oh my God.
That guy steals the show.
He can do more by just standing there and staring at a camera than most actors can by speaking dialogue.
Sitting there licking his lips.
It is so interesting.
He's just got a presence.
Oh my God, he's so good.
And it's so funny because he's such a dangerous little dude in this.
It's crazy because I have never in the history of TV seen a character that seems more innocent and just normal, but is the most, not insane, but the craziest, most dangerous person.
Oh, he's a psychopath. But the beauty of that is they're like, you got a conscience, man.
He's got a code.
That's what makes it hard. The motivations behind what he did, what he does, and how he got into it.
Yeah.
Just these little tidbits that you get that are sprinkled throughout the show.
So good.
It is amazing. I jammed through that in a couple of days.
Same.
It was like I think I was up until 1:00 in the morning one time.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't stop. It was just so good.
So good. It's only 6 episodes. It's on Netflix. It actually technically is a Christmas show because it's set over Christmas.
It is.
Which I thought was great.
My favorite Christmas show of the year.
The great thing is that they actually, before it even aired on Netflix or streamed, they actually renewed it for a second season. Like, some execs at Netflix were like, okay, let's keep going.
Now, it is lightning in a bottle, man. It is the best spy series that I've seen in the longest time. There's a couple other spy series on that I'm not even going to watch because I don't think they're going to be as good. Yeah. One I won't watch because of my ridiculous prejudice, unearned prejudice against the lead actor, The Day of the Jackal.
The Day of the Jackal with your absolute favorite, your boyfriend, Eddie Redmayne.
I'm so sorry, Eddie Redmayne, but I can't watch you. I just can't watch you.
That got renewed for a second season, too.
I'm sure it did, and it's great, and maybe I'll try.
Yeah.
But between Jupiter Rising and those awful Harry Potter movies.
Jupiter Rising was not his fault. He did the best he could. He did the best he could.
He did not do the best he could, Adam. He did the worst he could. That was the worst performance I've seen from a mainstream actor in decades.
It was so bad that it was good.
No. It was so bad that it was bad.
That movie was just awful. Oh my God, awful.
And he was awful in it. And he was also really awful in those Harry Potter movies. It's just
he was fine. I'm not a big fan of the Fantastic Beasts movies. They're fine. They were kind of going off the rails.
Needless. It doesn't matter
because they're done.
Good.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Good. Well, I should give it a shot. I should give Eddie Redmayne another shot.
You should, if you like spy stuff, and I don't think you've watched any of it yet, but you should watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I did watch some of that.
Oh, you should finish it. It's really good.
I will. That hit me in a time where I was not interested in it. I don't know why. Because I love both of the leads. I think they're spectacular.
It's a much slower pace than Black Doves, but it's good. It's really good.
I should watch that. I will watch that. I'll finish that.
It has a great ending. Great ending. But Black Doves, highly recommend it. You should watch it over Christmas. It's obviously Christmas is done, but watch it this weekend. It is so good.
Here's what you do. On New Year's Day, when you're all hungover and you just want to snuggle up on the couch and nurse that hangover with some Bloody Marys and maybe a couple of edibles, then you got your 6 hours, baby.
6 right there. There you go.
You got your whole New Year's Day.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
Cannot recommend it enough. I think it is my favorite show of the year, too.
God, it was so tight. It was done so well. And the guy, I think the next thing that the guy that created it he's doing a TV show based off the stage play Amadeus.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious to see what happens with that. He wrote a couple movies. There's something called The Ritual that came out in like 2017.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I did see that.
I don't think I watched it. I thought it was based off an Adam Neville movie who does a lot of weird like science fiction. But I think it's on Netflix, so I'm going to check it out. I'm curious. This guy, I didn't even write his name down. Judson, I think his name is Ben Judson or something like that. But the guy who created the show, he's fascinating, and his dialogue is so good, and this show is just so good.
Yeah, and I need to see everything that Ben Whishaw is in.
It's so weird because I looked up, and he hasn't done a ton of American stuff. Like, it's mostly British stuff. And
he was He was the voice of Paddington.
Paddington, yeah. Yeah, all 3 movies, yeah.
I'm Paddington Bear.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some marmalade.
It's just, he's so, but I agree, though. I need to go back and watch other stuff he's in because he's a breath of fresh air.
And he looks like somebody who's been around forever. And even though I haven't seen him in a lot of things, I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Even though I probably don't.
I mean, yeah.
That's how great he is.
But highly recommend Black Doves. It's on Netflix. Give it a watch.
Yeah, definitely.
We also started watching The Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
Which has been really good.
Again, going back to practical effects.
Yeah.
So much of it are masks and practicals. Even a creature that I think is coming up in the next episode. They did stop motion, and I watched the behind the scenes of them doing the stop motion on the creature, which gives it that real 80s Spielberg-y, Goonies type of feel. It's got that sense of adventure.
Yeah.
Jude Law's really fun.
Yeah.
The kids are all good. I want to see where it goes.
It's been very fun.
Yeah.
It feels like a good Spielberg throwback.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see where it goes, and it's been moving really well.
It's exactly the type of show I wish I had as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, instead of those crappy Ewok movies, Endor movies. F you, Ewoks, and the stupid droid cartoons.
Yeah.
We got done dirty back then, man.
They did. They didn't
get any good Star Wars holiday special. B. Arthur and weirdo Grandpa Wookiee watching human
Life
porn.
Day, celebrating Life Day.
Oh goodness, I love that. I'm gonna watch that special.
It's on YouTube. You can totally watch it.
Oh, I did. I think I watched it last year. I want to watch it again.
It's so bad.
What's funny is I loved it when I watched it as a kid.
I'm sure. I mean, because it's the only new Star Wars thing you had.
Oh, yeah.
Of course you loved it.
Any chance to see Han Solo, man. Any chance to see
Even though he was, literally, you could see him on the phone while he was in the show.
What are you doing to me? You're supposed to be my agent.
This is contracted. I'm only here because I have to be.
This is Bantha Poodoo.
But Skeleton Crew, it's really fun. I'm really curious to see where it goes.
Yeah.
It's good to have another good, like really good Star Wars. I mean, all the Star Wars stuff has been fine.
Yeah.
But like the Acolyte got canceled. It's not coming back. I think Andor is obviously I think it's going to be in May.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
They're talking about maybe doing another Obi-Wan.
Yeah, another Obi-Wan because I think it made enough money. But I'm pretty sure they're going to do another season of this too, of Skeleton Crew. So.
Yeah, I hope so. The problem is with the Star Wars stuff is the reactions are so crazy.
Yeah.
The fandom is so toxic and insane in some parts.
Yeah.
That it's hard to give something a chance. Like the Acolyte, I think would have been really interesting to have a second season.
Agreed.
I was interested in the characters. I really liked Manny Jacinto's character.
Yeah, I liked where they went with it, where it ended. It was like, okay, this is an interesting first chapter.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you've been watching? Any TV stuff?
Yeah. The What We Do in the Shadows ended.
Yeah. I've been trying to watch it.
What's really funny is there were a bunch of endings, and I didn't know this.
Oh, really?
Because they did a lot of, it's not a spoiler at all, but they did a lot of, parody endings.
Oh, yeah.
They did the New Heart ending.
Oh, yeah.
Guillermo,
Are they
I
all
had the strangest dream.
Are they all available?
Yeah. Well, that's
okay.
the thing is I saw, when I watched, I think there was only one ending, and I think it was the New Heart ending. But then on YouTube, I saw there was a Usual Suspects ending.
Oh, nice.
So there was they did a really good job of parodying that stuff. Really satisfying ending to the show. So sad to see it go.
Yeah.
But they did a really good job of ending it. And Shrinking again, season 2.
Yeah.
That is
catch up on that. Yeah.
One of my favorite shows. It just keeps getting better. I really hope that there's a third season. And again, some of the best work I've seen Harrison Ford do. And, the guy's always solid. Watching Blade Runner 2049 or whatever, again, he is so goddamn good in that.
Oh, yeah.
But that's spectacular. If you're not watching that, definitely watch it.
Yeah, I need to catch up on that.
That is on my top 5 shows of the year.
Yeah.
I think it would be probably Black Doves, Shrinking. I really liked Fallout, the Fallout show. Mm-hmm. God, I can't even remember everything that's...
Same. I mean, I don't remember if... Because also, again, it's like the year went by so fast, but it also feels like April was like 18 years ago.
Yeah, I don't even know what I watched. But yeah. So yeah, that's about it for TV.
Okay.
I think.
I did... Oh, God, I was just thinking of something that I was watching. Oh, Silo is still going. Fantastic. Highly recommend it. In fact, there's a new episode I haven't watched yet that I need to watch.
Got to get into that.
Such a good show. Such a good show. And they did finally confirm that they are shooting the 3rd and 4th seasons back-to-back, and then they're ending it.
Oh, good.
So it's going to be the whole 3-book series over the 4 seasons. So, but it's so good. It's such a good show. But I think that's it. Yeah, I would have to go back through and look to see what the hell actually came out this year to be able to do a top 5. But
yeah, I mean, I find top whatever list kind of arbitrary.
Yeah.
These are just things that we were enjoying. We'll just, we're not going to like top 10 things we did.
No.
We'll just talk about stuff that we really enjoyed last year. And like you said, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Right, so it's hard to kind of remember, but these were the memorable ones.
Yeah.
And so, I would say there was some really, really good TV this year.
Yeah.
Better than movies.
I would agree. I
didn't see a ton of movies that I connected with this year.
No, there were not a lot.
I would say Juror Number 2 was great.
Yeah.
The Alien movie was great. What else did we watch? The Deadpool and Wolverine movie was fun.
Yeah. It was good. There were a couple comedies that we watched this year that were pretty good. The
Bottoms was probably
great.
One of my top 5. Was it Prom Date or Prom Night?
I think it was Prom Date.
That was another. It's really great. We've been talking a lot about how there hasn't really been a defining comedy genre in the last 15 or so years. Mm-hmm. I think that the Rogan Franco Apatow thing was kind of the last.
Yeah, I would agree.
Movement.
Everyone kind of aping those movies. Yeah.
Kind of the gross out, self-referential. Solipsistic movies, if you will. So it's been a really tough time for comedies. Bottoms and Prom Day, taking the high school genre and seeing it through the eyes of the quote-unquote outcast.
Right.
The 80s, it would have been, or the 90s, they would have been the ancillary, token fey character or whatever, or the tough lesbian character, like in Mean Girls, but I don't even think was really a lesbian.
No, I don't think so.
That was just too much. But I think that I'm really enjoying these outsider comedies, these kind of subversive outsider high school comedies. There's been some really good stuff.
Yeah, it has been a bad year for movies. No. It's just not been a terribly memorable year for movies.
Some good horror movies.
There's a ton of stuff that I saw this year that did not come out this year.
Right.
Like Escape at Dan Mora, still, you should 100% watch that. It's so good. But it came out 7 years ago.
Yes.
So, I
watched Newhart, which was probably one of my favorite shows of the year, and that's 30, 40 years old. But that's the beauty of streaming.
You can sometimes watch some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, last night I watched Death Race 2000, the Corman flick.
Slow. And David Carradine? Or is his brother?
No, I think it's David. It's whoever was in Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And such a fun...
It's such a weird movie.
But just so fun and dopey. And, it just makes me weep that they made a remake of that was so bad.
Oh,
with
so
Jason
bad.
Statham.
So bad.
It took all the fun and weird and subversive nature out of it.
That's taking something fun and then turning it into something super serious. And it's like, that's not how this movie is.
No, it was just pure goofy joy. And then I realized I'm at the age where I enjoy Jesse Stone movies, which are the series from Tom Selleck. But I'm not like NCIS old.
Yeah.
Or Blue Bloods old.
Yeah.
I'm Jesse Stone old, which is, I think, like...
Not quite to Blue Bloods.
No, because Jesse Stone is actually a really good movie series. It's based on good books. You know, they seem like old man movies, but they're actually really good.
Yeah.
Character is super interesting. So anyway, I've just been kind of going back and just watching some fun old movies that I hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Trying to sidestep stuff that we might be doing, for the show.
Yeah.
What else? There was something else old that I watched that was just so good. Oh, M.
Oh, yeah.
Fritz Lang.
Fritz Lang,
with
Peter Lorre.
Peter Lorre was in it. Oh, but that movie is like from 1931.
Yeah,
I think
31 or 32. Yeah,
and it is still prescient today. It is still such a good movie, and the fact that it's a German film where Peter Lorre plays a child killer, and both the mob and the cops are after him. Because the mob's like, we can't have a child killer around.
Right.
He's going to ruin business.
Okay.
And then the cop's like, he's killing kids. But when they capture him and they bring him down to the basement for like this mob justice, kind of like a mob, not mob like the mafia, but a mob of people.
Right.
To clarify. And he's just like, I don't want to be this way. I hate it. I don't want... The fact that they kind of try to humanize the child killer and then have a debate about this stuff in 31 in Germany, it's amazing, man.
Yeah,
it still holds up today, and I'm just like in this kind of old classics mode.
Nice.
Which it's been nice to get back and watching these old films, and you realize, man, you could just have a lazy pace. You didn't have to zip zap zoop.
No, it's sad that that's unfortunately not the norm anymore.
Yeah, but I'm gonna try to do like a classic movie once a week or once every couple of weeks. Try to, but it's the thing that sucks is it's so hard to find these movies.
Yeah.
I've been watching clips of stuff on YouTube, just random clips of movies. Like that's how I started watching Once Upon a Time in the West. I just watched the opening again on YouTube and was like, well, I got to watch this movie.
Right.
But I did that with a couple of Clint Eastwood movies. We have almost all the streaming services.
Yeah.
So these are the American ones.
Yeah.
I searched every single one of them. And within all of them, there's maybe 4 Clint Eastwood movies that he acts in.
Yeah.
And they're all on HBO Max. Apparently, every movie that I want to see is on Stars.
Yeah, well.
So I need to just subscribe to Stars and get rid of everything else. It's maddening. But that's what sucks. It's like we're losing so many great films because they're just not streaming anywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy that we have so much more access to stuff and have so much little access to stuff considering.
And it's, again, not to, well, of course, to harp on Zaslav, but Turner Classic Movies was the place to go.
Yeah.
And that hub on the Max app was great.
Yeah, it's crap.
But now it's decimated. There's basically barely nothing there.
They put maybe like 20 movies on a month now.
Yeah, and it's, if you want to watch a friggin' Humphrey Bogart movie, you got everything you want. But if you want anybody else, well, you're out of luck, baby.
Yeah, I started rewatching the Three Stooges shorts.
Oh, nice.
They're on. They remastered them, and they're on Amazon Prime. But man, the first one is it's part of the Women Haters Club. Yeah. Like, it was just like, wow, they just really went there.
But that was a big thing. Even the Little Rascals, they had the He-Man Women Haters Club, high sign, and then
yeah. It was just funny because it was like everything was in rhyme, which I also thought was really odd.
Yeah.
But it was just the kind of thing, and they didn't play the actual Stooges. They played other characters, but it was them in. And I think shortly after that, they started putting them in as themselves.
Right.
But it was good. It was interesting. I mean, it was interesting hearing like the rhyming. I always want to say iambic pentameter, but that's not it.
Yes.
But it's just the rhyming. I mean, like it was interesting, but like they look really good. Like they're really clean. They look really good. The sound's really good. But
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, Amazon Prime, and it's got. I think I want to say it's got the first like probably 50 or 60 of their shorts or something.
Oh wow!
Like there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about video games? What video games have you been playing?
Well, I thought that I finished Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah.
I'm trying to clear my slate for the new year and start some new stuff. I have a feeling there's probably going to be a few video games from Christmas lying around.
What? No, no.
But I thought I finished Dragon's Dogma, but then during the credits, you can do this thing, which just changes the entire world. It gets rid of all the water in the world and opens up a whole new.
It's so weird.
Yeah, there's gear that you can't get except at this last stage thing.
Weird.
And upgrades that you can't get till you get here, and then
that's so weird.
I think because you have to get all of the people all of the leaders that you met in these different regions to evacuate and go to this one place.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Something's going on.
It's going to be another 100 hours of gameplay.
Just want to finish this goddamn game. It was fun. I had a fun time playing it. It was a weird game. Weird. But fun.
Yeah.
Old school fun. It was kind of the perfect thing to play after Baldur's Gate 3 because it was basically the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Your choices don't really matter. And you just kill a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
The story's kind of convoluted, dumb.
Yeah.
But that was really fun. I finished Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. It was just a solid adventure game. Mm-hmm. When the DLC gets cheap, I'll probably get it. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the problems that other people did. It's a 7.5, 8, a solid, a fun experience. It's not going to change your life. And then...
Yeah, I'm excited to get more into it.
Yeah, no, it was a fun experience. And now that they've, kind of patched it up and changed some stuff around, it
plays a lot better.
Yeah, the quality of life is a lot better. It's like, good that I had that for the last mission.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really fun. I would say this year, my favorite games were Baldur's Gate 3, number one, which I know is a last year game, but it's
my number one is not this year game either.
Yeah. But one of the best games, if not the best RPG I've ever played. This was not a game from this year, but Sally Face was one of my favorite games that I played. It's very surprising.
Just need to finish that.
I just love the indie creativity and the way people are telling stories with the limitations of not having $1 billion and 1,000 people. Also really enjoy Killer Frequency. I haven't finished that.
Yeah, same.
Unfortunately.
It's got great art design.
Keep getting distracted.
Yeah, same. I got to finish Sally Face too.
Yeah, Sally Face was great. And I'm just looking forward to trying some new stuff. Dragon Age Veilguard looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
I still haven't played I was going to say Max Payne, but still haven't played Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Looking forward to getting that when that comes down.
Yeah. I think they're finally releasing a physical version of it, so it's something that we could potentially go in on together.
Yeah. And then, it looks that in the Indiana Jones game looks phenomenal.
That is probably going to be my one big new game purchase of the year. It looks so good.
There's a lot of really, really great stuff coming out next. There's potentially really great stuff coming out next year. But I think, Baldur's Gate 3 took up most of the year for me. It is probably the most time I've ever put into a game, not counting GTA Online or online stuff. And well worth every minute. I think that's on sale right now. Not for...
it's 10% off. It's not a lot.
But that's a game that,
maybe 15.
Regardless of what you pay for it, you're going to get your money's worth. That it has such replayability.
Larian did a really interesting thing with that you can't... Because I looked for a physical copy through Amazon. They have not technically released it to other sellers. Oh. Larian is selling it exclusively. through their website.
Good.
Anything you find on Amazon is going to be something from another region that you may or may not be able to actually play on your PS5.
Oh no! So you can only get a physical copy through
Larian. Yeah.
Oh wow!
And it's the prices are the same. It's just that you have to buy them through them. Buy it through them. That's all. Thing with Larian, like I'm actually would rather pay full price getting a digital or a physical copy from them because I know that all that money goes to them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to go to Jeff Bezos. And, it's like I know that they're going to get 100% of that.
Yeah.
And I would rather support them and pay the extra $15-20 or whatever. I'm almost done with Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been enjoying it and really loving it. Like, I've played it through before and I know the story.
Well, this is the PS5 upgrade.
The PS5 upgrade looks so good.
Yeah.
And it is such a good game. And I'm finally playing through the DLC, which I had never done, even though I had it. But it's really good. I'm hoping it'll push me to start playing Forbidden West more.
Right.
Because I loved the first game and I bought the second game for the PS5 and then I just kind of got bored with it and I don't know why. And I'm curious to start it again and see if it catches me more.
Well, that happened to me too. I played quite a bit of it and then just kind of got lost in the weeds, and that's the problem with RPG bloat.
Yeah.
With this or like the Assassin's Creed RPGs.
Yeah.
It starts turning into a job rather than fun, and then you get away from the story and you forget what the story is about, and then when you try to get back into the story, you're like, well, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Not super straightforward anyway.
I don't remember who this character is and why he's here and what's going on. Yeah.
It's just, it gets away from you sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think it's smart. I think going right into it will probably...
Yeah, that's my plan. Just to jump straight into it, so that way I do want to play Outlaws, but I think keep that train a moving.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll propel me through the game.
I think I'll grab, if you don't mind, Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, I thought you had already.
No, I'll probably try that for my next playthrough, because that seems to be a little more linear, story based.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a good story.
I started playing it a little bit. I'm gonna probably have to rewatch the opening again because I'm not gonna remember anything by the time I play it. But I still gotta play Final Fantasy 15.
It's fun. It's a fun, weird game about buddies. That's why I like
buddies.
It. And the car is super cool.
Hanging out in that weird car, driving around.
The car later on, like, turns into a boat, turns into a flying car.
Wow. Well, spoilers. No,
I don't know when it happens.
I'm just kidding.
The game is so weird.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I know we got a lot of stuff. We'll talk more about upcoming stuff in the next Stepdad show. When we get through January.
Ooh. Oh, man. January.
So excited about January.
It is the adventure month.
Yeah. Get in the car, losers. We're going on an adventure.
Yeah. It's all movies that have adventure in the title.
Yeah. I'm so excited about this.
Me
a lot
too.
of these movies I've not seen in a long time.
Me too. We're doing The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen. Which I had on... I had that one on Laserdisc.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite Laserdiscs.
It was one of those that was on like Cinemax all the time, so I watched it all the time.
Such a great movie. Such a great movie.
It was so weird and fantastical, and I loved it.
We're doing Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins.
Yeah.
It's another real fun.
God, another one that was on TV all the time.
Yep.
So good.
And then we're doing Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah.
Which is a fun movie. The one that I'm the most excited about is...
It's the one we're coming up first.
Buckaroo Banzai. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai.
Across the 8th dimension.
Which you haven't seen.
I've never seen, and I gotta be honest, I've already started writing the script, and I am so friggin' excited.
If you don't like this movie, podcast over.
I don't know how I'm not gonna not like this movie.
No pressure on you, but yeah.
All right. Well, then join us next week for possibly our last episode of the show. I'm very excited to see it. It's going to be great.
It is. It's one of my absolute favorite movies. An amazing cast. Can't wait. Anyway, well, happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, happy holidays. Hope you had a good Christmas,
Yeah.
and Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, and all that stuff that you can celebrate.
Sure.
And enjoy your New Year. Please be safe.
Yeah. Get drunk, get effed up in a safe place.
Yes.
Because the year coming up, you got to be prepared, baby. You got to be prepared. Oh, yeah. Baldur's Gate 3! Well, that's the thing. It's guys like he and Clint Eastwood who are still giving great work in their 80s and 90s.
He and who? Clint Eastwood?
It's like he and Harrison Ford.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, The Real Ghostbusters. Already in progress.